afternoon and welcome to Live at 4 on this Wednesday. Got any problems with your plants?
Yes. Can't wait for some warmer weather so that we can get started on that. But a little later this hour, we're going to be taking your calls for Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company. Lisa will be with us here in the studio.
That's coming up. But first, here's what's making news on this Wednesday. President Trump addresses the nation this morning after Iranian leaders sent missiles to a U.S. military base in Iraq.
Madison police say they are encouraged by a decrease in gun violence in the city, but they've still got work to do.
And in Rock County, why a man will spend the next 8 years in jail despite attempted homicide charges being dropped.
Let's take a look outside today. Woo, is it cold?
It was a little chilly this morning.
Here we are talking about spring plants. It was freezing today, and the weather is going to get crazier from here.
It's just a crazy forecast. Dave Caulfield is in the backyard. Crazy day, we call them around here.
Yeah, you know that Price is Right game, Mark and Susan, where it's that's too much? I feel like this weekend is just too much. I get tired just looking at this forecast. So we'll discuss all the possibilities in just a few minutes. Right now, let's focus on what we have currently in Madison. The clouds have come in after some sunshine this morning on the WISC-TV Skycam at 16 degrees, which is our high for the day. Wind chill is at 6, which might be a high for the day. We started off feeling like 0 to 10 below 0 this morning. East-southeast wind at 7 miles per hour. Temperatures are in the teens and some 20s closer to southwestern Wisconsin. They're the, quote, lucky spots. We are about 20 degrees colder compared to this time yesterday in Madison. Wind chills are still in the single digits for many spots across southern Wisconsin, although they are starting to come up a little bit. I think temperatures will fall a few more degrees this evening into the lower teens with partly to mostly cloudy skies before a warm front comes through and gets our temperatures back into mild territory tomorrow. There could be some areas that see some rain tomorrow, and also early and late in the day, a few areas may see some freezing drizzle. We'll talk about that coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. Park Street and the Beltline not looking too bad in either direction. A lot of green showing up across Dane County, which is good news. No major accidents or incidents to report. Traffic generally heading out at the posted speed. Starting to see a few brake lights just past Park Street on the eastbound Beltline. Right now, 7 minutes, eastbound University Avenue to Verona Road with an average speed of around 60 miles per hour. Other routes in and around Madison, not looking bad at all. Westbound Middleton to Sauk City on Highway 12. That's average speed of around 65 miles per hour. That'll cost you about 15 minutes. That is your first alert traffic update. All that and more on this crazy forecast in just a few minutes.
Earmuffs today, 40s tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Dave, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. First at 4, President Trump addressed the nation for the first time this morning since Iran's retaliation for the U.S. killing a top Iranian military commander.
Iran launched more than a dozen missiles at U.S. troops in Iraq last night. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
The United States is ready to embrace peace with all who seek it.
President Trump says Iran appears to be standing down hours after the nation's missile attack on 2 bases in Iraq where American and coalition troops are stationed.
We suffered no casualties. All of our soldiers are safe.
A defense official tells CBS News satellite and intelligence info provided hours of warning for troops to shelter in bunkers as the U.S. braced for retaliation over its killing of Iran's top military commander.
Soleimani's hands were drenched in both American and Iranian blood.
The president, who campaigned on a promise to end U.S. involvement in the Middle East, warned about U.S. strength amid the tensions.
Our missiles are big, powerful, accurate, lethal and fast. The fact that we have this great military and equipment, however, does not mean we have to use it.
President Trump said the U.S. will put additional punishing sanctions on Iran, and he called on allies to help negotiate a new nuclear deal.
We must all work together toward making a deal with Iran that makes the world a safer and more peaceful place.
The top Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee urged the president to choose diplomacy over escalation.
I think it's as close to the possibility of seeking a different path with Iran than the president will get in his words.
Wednesday, administration officials provided briefings for all members of Congress on the strike that killed General Soleimani. Democrats have called for more transparency about what comes next. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And President Trump plans to carry on with his Keep America Great rally in Toledo, Ohio tomorrow night, despite the Iran situation.
As tensions rise in the Middle East, tragedy struck a passenger plane leaving Tehran. Unverified video from Iranian TV appears to show the Ukrainian International Airlines flight engulfed in flames. It crashed shortly after taking off. The smoldering debris was scattered across a field just a few miles from Tehran's airport. Daybreak revealed the extent of the tragedy. Rescuers searching through the twisted metal and debris found no survivors. All 176 people on board the plane died. The plane was a Boeing 737-800, not a MAX, which remained grounded after 2 deadly crashes. In the past 2 years, the number of shots fired incidents recorded by the Madison Police Department has gone down.
Madeline O'Neill spoke to police about what's working and what still needs to be done. Maddie?
Of course, police say gun violence is still a top priority for the department. Now, under former Chief Mike Koval, the department began keeping track of shots fired incidents in 2017 when it documented 220 total incidents. That went down to 186 in 2018 and 144 in 2019. Those injured by gunfire has gone down as well. Of course, this is only 3 years of data, and police say there's still plenty of work to be done.
It's good to see the numbers that are going down, and certainly that's hopeful, but still we know there are way too many guns in this community in the hands of lawbreakers, and these are people who are firing bullets in places where people are sleeping, they're shopping, they're driving to work.
Police say it helps that more people facing gun charges are going through the federal court system. They also say they think specialty units like the Violent Crime Unit, Special Investigations Unit, and Gang Unit is making a difference, along with partnering with other organizations in the community. Coming up at 6, we'll hear from a coalition that formed around when the shots fired incidents seemed to be at their peak, at least according to that data, and the different approach they're taking to help this gun violence issue.
Some encouraging news.
Yeah.
All right, Maddie, thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. Madison police continue to look for 3 people they say are involved in a strong armed robbery at Westtown Mall. Officers say employees from several mall stores tried to stop the suspects who ran out of a business with several pairs of boots. Police believe the robbers drove off in a stolen SUV.
A truck driver has been charged with vehicular homicide and other crimes following an Interstate 80 collision in Nebraska that killed a Madison woman. Court records say Peterson Black of Taylorsville, Utah, had been under the influence of alcohol Sunday while driving west on I-80. Authorities say Black lost control of his truck and had crossed into the eastbound lanes where a small sport utility vehicle went under the tank trailer that he was hauling. The crash killed 72-year-old Mary Niedermeyer and injured her husband, William. The man accused of beating the mother of his child with a hammer will now spend the next 8 years in jail.
This happened in Rock County in October of 2018. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter was at the sentencing today and joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette. Adam?
Well, Mark and Susan, the word said more than any other today in Rock County Court was mind-boggling. How a 30-year-old man with no prior criminal history could beat the mother of his child with a hammer. Now in court today, Jonathan Castro was sentenced to 8 years in prison, followed by 10 years of extended supervision. After that, he won't be able to have any contact with his child or that child's mother. Before he was sentenced, he offered a tearful apology.
I apologize to the victim and her family for what I did. Apologize to my family and my son for what I did. And everybody else involved.
Castro was originally facing charges of attempted homicide, but both prosecutors and defense agreed to have those attempted homicide charges waived. Rather, he was sentenced to aggravated assault and domestic violence charges. And he will begin serving his sentence immediately, but will have 20 days to appeal that decision.
All right, Adam Duxter reporting live from our bureau in the Janesville Gazette. Thank you, sir.
There's more at 4. The Octopi Tap Room in Wanakee just underwent an $11 million renovation, which included a new full kitchen.
Andrea Bailing from Madison Magazine checks it out next as we head in the kitchen. That's when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, Burger King's meatless Impossible Whopper is a big success for the restaurant, and now it's targeting the first meal of the day. The chain will test a meatless breakfast sandwich in 5 markets later this month. The Impossible Croissantwich has eggs and cheese on a croissant coupled with a plant-based sausage patty from Impossible Foods. Burger King says the meatless menu options have been key to bringing in younger customers. Dunkin' began offering a similar meatless breakfast option in November with a sausage patty made by Beyond Meat. The CES show in Las Vegas is this week, of course. We've been talking about it all week, and companies are showing off robots that can help with chores around the house and even keep you company.
In the past, robots struggled to manipulate objects. This one has improved technology that allows it to remove a bottle cap, pour a soda, hand it over, and if you're hungry, the Samsung Chef Bot is here. These robotic arms can slice and dice, prepare a meal, even make you a cup of coffee. CNET's Lexi Savides says it may be a while before these types of robots show up in people's homes, but robotics that meld man and machine are currently in use. The Guardian XO allows workers to lift heavy items with ease.
200 pounds could feel like only 10 pounds when you're lifting it. It's actually about reducing strain or injury, about people that are working in factories or at high-risk jobs.
This rolling device is part of a new trend in companion robots. The Bolly has a camera and artificial intelligence to interact with its owner. It can give you reminders, record moments, even play with your dog.
That's the solution to being an empty nester. I need a robot companion. And a dog.
I'll leave it there. The de-escalation of tensions with Iraq has led to gains on Wall Street. The Dow Industrials up 161 points, ending the day at 28,745. The Nasdaq added 60. The S&P 500 gained 15. Well, you're probably familiar with our Tastemaker segment. Andrea Bailing from Madison Magazine features a new restaurant every month.
It has a new name now, In the Kitchen, but the same mission. And this month, Andrea heads to Wanakee to check out octopi.
And you've created a couple dishes for us here. Can you tell me what we have?
We've got our house burger, our chicken wings, and pork belly tacos.
It seems very straightforward dishes, but you have your touches on all of these. Can you tell me a little bit about each?
Yeah, sure. With the burger, we start with a 1/4 pound smash patty, seasoned with just salt and pepper. The beef comes in fresh each week, and then we top it with smoked onions that we smoke with applewood for about 30 minutes, slice them up, and then caramelize them on the flat top.
And who doesn't love a smash burger?
I don't know.
Awesome.
And then American cheese, iceberg lettuce, local bun, and house-made pickles.
From Batch, right? Your
Batch
bun?
Bakehouse on Williamson Street.
Ah, cool. Yeah. And that's what you guys have, giant pretzels here too, right?
Yep. We also use them for our giant pretzels.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
And these chicken wings, tell me about these.
The chicken wings, again, who doesn't love chicken wings, right, especially paired with delicious beer. The chicken wings we braise for about 2 hours, and then with a little bit of ginger, garlic, soy sauce, oyster sauce, and then let them rest overnight to soak in all those juices. And then we throw them a little rice flour, deep fry them, and then toss them in a chili peanut sauce.
Yum. Yeah, and when I first came here, when you guys first opened the kitchen, I had these on your spare ribs.
Yep.
So good.
Thank you.
One of my favorite things, so I'm definitely, these are a favorite of mine. You used to have a truck, a food truck outside, so this is one of those carryover dishes?
Yeah, and this one is braised pork belly with, again, ginger, soy sauce, lemongrass, portioned and deep fried, so the outside gets a little crispy, but the inside stays nice and creamy and gooey.
Yum.
It's topped with some chili garlic mayo, lime juice, fish sauce, roasted garlic and chilies, pickled red onions, and a little bit of micro radish from Vitruvian Farms in McFarland.
Beer pairing, is that a part of creating the menu too?
With the beer, it changes quite often. People can definitely drink out here in Wanakee. And,
can they?
It rotates often.
Yeah.
So we've kind of chosen dishes that could potentially be paired with a hoppy beer or a stout. For example, Our sweet stouts work really well as a dessert after having some spicy wings or a savory cheeseburger.
Yeah.
With a dish like our tacos, with the fattiness of the pork belly, the sours that we do out here really help cut back that, but also enhances the food while enhancing the flavor of the beer.
Nice.
Yeah.
But well, congrats on helping with this new open, and you guys have been packed in here.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. Very
We're
cool.
excited for what's to come, you know. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us.
Of course.
I have to try these.
Yeah, dig in.
Thank you all.
Andrea's here now. Jacob has quite a resume in
He does.
restaurants.
Yeah, he comes from kitchens like L'Etoile, Osteria. He worked at Morimoto. So yeah, he has like fine dining experience, and he kind of brings that and elevates bar food here at Octopi.
Octopi started as a food cart, is that right?
They had a food cart outside, yeah.
It was a brewery. It's a brew house.
Okay.
Right,
And
brewery.
Brewery.
Yep, and they and the food cart did so well, and Jacob kind of proved that they could make that successful along with Claudia, their another person on their team, and they the owner Isaac just said, "Yep, let's build a kitchen in this new expansion," and they have just been doing great with that.
And his brother, Jacob's brother, works there as well.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, you walk into the tap room and you think you're seeing double for a second.
Oh, he's a bartender.
He's a bartender there.
They're identical twins?
Identical twins.
Oh,
so
that's
funny.
great. That's
Why
great.
don't you to check it out?
Yeah.
All right. Pick up this month's Madison magazine for In the Kitchen and all other good reading, and the Mad magazine on the other side, which we talked about yesterday. Andrew, thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you guys.
There's more to come before. Dave Caulfield is talking about some alert days coming up in the forecast.
And then coming up tonight at 5, our political reporter Amy Reed talks with Governor Tony Evers about what he hopes to accomplish in 2020. That's coming up at 5.
Well, take a look at this. Three brothers in Minnesota are famous for their yearly snow sculpture. This year, a giant whale graces the front lawn of their home in New Brighton. Austin, Trevor, and Connor Bartz are the creative force behind Walrus, the whale. Towering more than 20 feet and spanning more than 60 feet long, it's their biggest snow sculpture yet. From last year's Slinky the Snail to Octavius the Octopus, the Bart's snow sculptures are a major attraction for the past 9 years. Their creativity is also an expression of charity. They accept donations, and this year's charity is Clean Water in Africa.
I think my favorite part of the names of all of this. They're so creative.
Yeah, they are very creative.
Yeah, that's something else. They got a lot of snow up there.
Oh, yeah. Not so much for us, but
right.
Possibly in a little bit.
Well, a Michigan driver celebrates Elvis's birthday today with an elaborate costume.
And we're not just talking about a pair of blue suede shoes. A chauffeur in Michigan celebrated Elvis Presley's birthday as Elvis Presley. Max Pellicano is a professional chauffeur and a professional Elvis impersonator for one day only. The King's birthday, Pellicano combined the two, picking up passengers in full Elvis regalia. Man, that is something to see. Hopefully his riders remembered to thank him very much.
He looks good.
Yeah.
Nice Elvis.
Yeah, better than me.
And that's not the only birthday today.
Really?
This one here.
Oh, yeah.
It's Susan's birthday.
Happy birthday,
Thank
Susan.
you. Thank you, you guys.
Cupcakes.
Thank
you.
you.
You know you love your chocolates.
Yes, thank you. Good choice.
Big plans for today?
Very good. No, not really. Not really, but thank you. That's really nice.
Has having the same birthday as Elvis been a factor in your life at all?
Well, it's always been really fun. When I did the morning show, we brought an Elvis impersonator on, and we sang some Elvis songs. That was really
Rob
fun.
Starbuck is a huge Elvis fan.
Exactly,
Sure.
exactly. Yeah, Elvis would have been 85 today. We figured that out.
And you are? I ought to give it a shot. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Speaking of trying to figure out numbers, that's what we're trying to do for this weekend. We still have a wide variety of possible snow amounts on the way, so we're still fine-tuning that forecast, but we'll go over all the possibilities and possibly even more snow as we get into next week in your First Alert forecast in just a few minutes. Good afternoon. Hopefully you're having a great Wednesday so far. Definitely colder on this Wednesday, but a warm front is on the way that will help us get milder overnight as we take a look at our 3 things to know. And then tomorrow, some wind and a little bit of rain possibly for Thursday. And then as we get closer to the weekend, the forecast gets a little bit crazier with possibly multiple rounds of winter weather on the way. We'll talk about all of that in just a bit. Doppler track showing a few flurries trying to form this afternoon. Really not too concerned with that. I think we will stay cloudy as we head into the next few hours and into the overnight hours as well as our temperatures start to warm up. And that is a cool shot on the Edgewater Skycam. Sunset in just a few minutes. And so today's high was not really helped by the sun all that much. That 21 is well below normal for this time of year. And our low temperature actually got into the middle single digits with wind chills this morning feeling like 0 to about 10 below in some spots across southern Wisconsin. So other high temperatures today in the mid-teens in the Dells, 21 in Mineral Point, and 22 in Monroe, a bunch of 20s as we get a little bit closer to the Mississippi River Valley. High temperatures over the next couple of days, definitely mild tomorrow with the wind and rain on the way. We'll be in the mid-40s and then a little bit closer to normal for the weekend when potentially that snow is falling. And the thing to remember here, folks, is if we do get that snow, that typically gets us colder down the road. So that's sort of what we're anticipating as we get into the middle of next week. But if we do get the high snow amounts, the sun needs to do work to try and break that snow down and melt that snow so it doesn't do the work of warming up the air above the ground. And that's usually how we get those higher temperatures. So these high temperatures as we get into the next couple of days could start to trend downward if we do get that snow. Just wanted to make you aware of that. We also do have the alert days in the forecast we've been talking about for the past couple of days. Friday night into Saturday, that's our first potential round of snow. Occasional snow is likely. About 1 to 4 inches of snow is possible, so pretty minor as far as totals go. And I think most of that snow will fall south of Madison, southeast specifically of Madison. Late Saturday into Sunday morning, this is the potential round 2 of snow. Could be heavy at times. We're still looking at low confidence whether or not that will occur. If it does, though, you can be sure it will have a high impact. So let's go over the 3 T's. This is something that I came up with. That is type, timing, and total. So type is going to be snow, I think, for most of southern Wisconsin. Maybe very far southeast Wisconsin gets some freezing rain at times this weekend, but I think mostly that threat stays south, which is good news. Timing, so we talked about this. Round 1 will be Friday night into Saturday morning. That will have relatively minor snow totals, and the potential round 2 will be later on Saturday into Saturday night. If that does occur, that will have the most snow associated with it. I think generally when you factor everything together, about 3 to 6 inches of snow for most. There could be a sharp cutoff, though, especially north and west of Madison. So you need to keep that in mind. The snow totals may go from 0 to a whole lot in not that many miles. Tonight, temperatures falling into the low teens, cloudy and breezy with temperatures rising into the 20s overnight. And then for tomorrow, we have some flurries and freezing drizzle possible tomorrow morning. I don't think many of us will see that. And then windy with some rain showers during the afternoon. So we'll see those temperatures continue to rise through the 20s and 30s. A few areas could see some isolated freezing drizzle early tomorrow. Again, I think the better chances of that will actually occur a little bit later on Thursday into Friday morning. Some areas could see some freezing drizzle mix in with the rain, just depending on where those temperatures are. But I think really we don't need to worry about that too much as we get into Thursday. Some occasional rain showers will be here, not expecting much in the way of totals, and then the potential snow gets here by the weekend. So the first round, most of that snow is staying south and east of Madison, about 1 to 3 inches of snow, and then that potential second round is what's going to give us the highest snow totals if that does occur. Still a lot of uncertainty with our models, so stay tuned for those fine-tuned details over the next couple of days. Alert days in the forecast for this weekend with potentially some more snow on the way for next Tuesday and Wednesday.
That's all you got, Dave?
Yeah.
All right. There is encouraging news in the battle against cancer. The cancer death rate in the United States fell 2.2% in 2017. It's the biggest single drop ever reported, according to the American Cancer Society. The society has been reporting cancer death rates since since 1930.
Now we can hear you. Got your mic back on? Okay.
All right. The National Cancer Institute says the data reinforces that we are making steady progress against cancer.
But is it all good news? Joining us to talk more about this study is Dr. Howard Bailey. He is the director of the Carbone Cancer Center at UW Hospital and a professor of medicine at the UW School of Medicine and Public Health. Dr. Bailey, good to see you.
Again.
Thank you.
So is this as exciting as it sounds?
We're certainly excited. I think what I'd ask people to kind of look at is it really sends a signal that all of us together working on trying to lessen how we suffer from cancer, that we're making a difference. I think we'd all agree that we want to make a bigger difference than what we're seeing right now, but it's very encouraging that differences are having an impact, that less people are dying from cancer, and that's what this data really shows. And why I think it's getting so much notoriety is that it's a bigger drop than expected. The death rate in the United States from cancer has been dropping fairly steadily for the last few years, usually only about 1% per year. So having it double in this shorter period of time really does kind of imply that we're making headway in it. Again, much more work to do, all of us together, but we're making progress, and that's all of us should be thankful for.
Yeah.
Better treatment, better health habits?
Those are great questions in that it's probably a little of all those things. The main reason the death rates have been declining in the United States over the last few years is really healthier living, better prevention, better screening, avoiding things that influence and lead to the development of cancers. But to have this much of a change over a relatively short period of time probably is more related to better treatments across the spectrum, and probably some cancers specifically.
I was just going to say, the drop is mostly propelled, isn't it, by gains in lung cancer? Because lung cancer, is lung cancer still the deadliest form of cancer in the United States?
It is. I mean, it's what is the leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States. Now, the four big cancers and the leading causes of death, lung cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colon cancer, again, are quite unfortunately common relative to a lot of other cancers. Lung cancer death rates, because unfortunately, as many of our loved ones know having had it, that lung cancer is a tough diagnosis, that many people, when you're diagnosed with it, unfortunately go on to die from it. Again, that's changing gradually, but because there are more and more people living longer, even with advanced lung cancer through to new therapies, that is why we think some of these numbers have shifted so dramatically just in this last couple of years.
Have the number of new cases stayed about the same?
Well, the number of new lung cancer cases are finally dropping and have been gradually dropping in the United States. Again, a lot of great work done many places, including at the university, on smoking cessation, trying to avoid causes of lung cancer. So the incidence of that is gradually decreasing. It's taken a while for the death rate to catch up to that, but now we're starting to see that that's starting to decrease more rapidly as well.
And what about other cancer, like breast cancer? You were mentioning that breast cancer cases are actually on the rise in Wisconsin.
So at least in the state of Wisconsin, the incidence of breast cancer is a little bit higher in our state than for the United States as a whole. In general, the state of Wisconsin, it kind of mirrors the country as a whole. When most cancers go down nationwide, they go down in our state too. The death rate from breast cancer has stayed about the same to slightly less, but the incidence has gone up a little bit. So breast cancer is a little more common in Wisconsin than on average for the rest of the country.
That's some encouraging news all around.
Very encouraging.
Absolutely.
Doctor, thanks for being with us
And we are
today.
so
Thank
lucky
you.
to have the Carbone Cancer
Absolutely.
Center. Keep
Thank
up the
you.
great work you do there.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We're taking a look at the latest headlines when we come back.
Including the latest on plans for a Senate impeachment trial. That's when Live at 4 continues.
For an accurate forecast you can trust, watch First Alert Weather.
That is a beautiful shot of the sun setting on this Wednesday afternoon, looking over the UW campus. Wow, it's very, very pretty. Cold. You can almost see how cold it is just looking at that picture. It is 4:40 right now. Let's get a look at today's top headlines.
President Trump addressed the nation for the first time since Iran's retaliation for the U.S. killing of a top Iranian military commander. Trump says Iran appears to be standing down hours after the nation's missile attacked on the two bases in Iraq, where American and coalition troops are stationed. Administration officials today provided briefings for all members of Congress on the strike that killed General Soleimani.
Madison police say gun violence is down in the city, but there is still a lot of work to do. Under former Chief Mike Koval, the department began keeping track of shots fired incidents in 2017 when it documented 220 total incidents. That went down to 186 and 144 in 2019. Those injured by gunfire has gone down as well.
The man accused of beating the mother of his child with a hammer will now spend the next 8 years in jail. Jonathan Castro appeared in Rock County Court today. After his sentence, he won't be able to have any contact with his child or that child's mother. Castro was originally facing charges of attempted homicide, but both prosecutors and defense had those charges dropped.
House Democratic leaders say they back Speaker Nancy Pelosi's decision to delay sending the articles of impeachment against President Trump to the Senate. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he has the support of at least 51 Republicans to pass an organizing resolution to begin the impeachment trial. The Democrats want to negotiate on witnesses, but McConnell wants to make that decision after the Senate trial begins.
Well, still to come at 4, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here.
She's getting ready to take your plant and garden calls. Oh, there she is. That looks pretty, Lise. The number to call, 270-9933. Call now, and we'll get your questions when Live at 4 continues.
Good afternoon. Here's your first alert traffic update. Traffic really starting to bottle up on the eastbound side. We're looking at Park Street and the Beltline right now. Westbound not looking bad at all, but we have had an accident just pop up in the last 10 minutes or so right near Rimrock Road and John Nolan Drive on the eastbound side, I should say. The left lane is blocked, so we're really starting to see those delays pile up from Rimrock Road to about Verona Road on the eastbound side. So that's going to add at least a couple of minutes to your drive. Right now, 32 minutes eastbound from University Ave to the interstate with an average speed of around 30 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. Not all of us can tell when a plant needs more water, less light, or perhaps it's too warm. That's why Luxembourg-based Moo Design has created the Lua Smart Plant Pot to give greenery an animated face. Emotions such as thirsty, sick, or cold are displayed on a digital screen on the front of the pot. The pot itself is fitted with sensors to monitor moisture, light, and temperature. An accompanying app lets users browse settings for the pot and also generating information specific to that plant.
I think the Bruce Company needs a couple of these.
What do you think of that?
That would be my question is, can you customize it to say, there's a cactus in this pot, or there's a fern in this pot?
Exactly.
That's pretty snazzy.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, that's pretty
Lisa
snazzy.
Briggs is here from the Bruce Company, taking your plant questions at 270-9933.
Great day to call. Phones are wide open if you have a question for Lisa, so go ahead and call now.
So you got some old-timey plants.
I did. They came in, and I thought they were kind of groovy, sort of 70s, like the stuff your mom had. You called them grandma plants. So we have a Hoya, we have a Tradescantia, this is a Peperomia, and this is Calanthea. All fancy pants names, but they're pretty, like, nice foliage. Now that everybody's Christmas tree is out of their house, so there's a big empty spot.
And
got to do something.
Pretty easy to take care of?
Yeah, these are all pretty easy plants. The Calanthea maybe not, but Hoyas are super easy, just really good light, and maybe something more if you're an underwaterer. Peperomias are super easy and come in all kinds of shapes and different leaf patterns and textures. Tradescantia has a, wandering, it's what we used to call it. It's not politically correct, so we call it Tradescantia, which is named after an old British plant explorer whose last name was Tradescant.
Oh, like poinsettia.
Like poinsettia, absolutely.
I'd say that for somebody.
The ambassador to Mexico in like the 1800s.
Poinsettia.
I'm going to sign you two up for a trivia contest.
I know.
Do people tend to overwater their plants?
Yes, especially now, because now that your plants are dormant, first of all, they're not actively growing, so they're using less moisture. And so you really don't want to be fussing with up-potting or any kind of that kind of stuff at this time of year. Let them be. Check the soil. Like these just came in. You can see, Susan. You can see it's damp.
Oh yeah.
You can, heft it.
Yeah, by the weight.
You want things to dry out pretty thoroughly between watering, and then water it thoroughly.
Don't let them wilt.
Don't let them wilt. But you'll find that things like, especially like succulents, you can go like a week for every inch of diameter on the pot between watering.
I go like a month sometimes.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to the calls. We'll start with Pat in Sun Prairie. Hi, Pat.
Hi. I have an African violet that's, probably 70 or 80 years old.
Wow.
And I went away for 10 days, and my house was really cool. And when I came back, the leaves are all kind of drooping, but it doesn't seem to be dying, and I don't know what I should be doing with it now.
Well, with African violets, you want to water them from the base up. So you want to let it soak up water as opposed to pouring water on it. So make sure that it's not dry, and if it is, then put it in, if it's not in one of those fancy African violet pots, then put it in a dish of water so that it will absorb water. You don't want to get water on the foliage. If it continues if it gets worse, they're super easy to propagate. So you can just take a leaf and cut it, and then put that cut surface in some potting soil, and you'll get little babies that will root along that cut leaf. So if you feel like it's going downhill, but you still want to keep it going because it has some sentimental value, then it's an easy plant to propagate.
Okay, all right, very good. Let's go to Jane in Lone Rock. Hi, Jane, what's your question?
Hi, I was wondering about my Christmas cactus and if I should water it any differently now. Like about every couple of weeks, I keep it moist and let it dry out. I was just wondering what I should do with it now.
Yeah, like I said, that would be considered a succulent. So if your pot is like 6 inches wide, you know, in diameter, you probably want to go a month between waterings. Christmas cactus do like cooler temperatures but bright light. So you're going to want to put it in a sunny window, but like close to the window so that it doesn't get too warm.
All right.
All right, how are we doing on time? We have 30 seconds. Let's go to Sally in Sauk City. Hi, Sally.
Oh, hi. My question is, I think it's called a good luck plant. It's got these long, green, skinny things, and the leaves are looking really bad, and it's getting way too tall. Is it okay to just cut it all back, and will it come then from the bottom part of those green things?
It depends on the plant. If it is a Dracaena or corn plant, which has got a stem with some leaves, kind of bladey foliage, you can cut those back, and those will often then send out new shoots where you cut it. If it's like a lucky bamboo, not so much, but then if it's some other thing that I don't know about, send a photo to the plant desk @brucecummey.com so we can ID it first, and then we can advise you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for calling
please.
in. We'll do this again soon.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with the final check of your forecast.
Temperatures increase overnight, maybe some areas of freezing drizzle early tomorrow morning. I think most of us just dealing with rain tomorrow before our weekend winter weather. We'll be right back.